Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. BTC reacting to the CPI numbers that are coming out. That's the inflation data. And the market bid everything up, the stock market and the crypto market. And it looks like we're slowly starting to roll over. I don't want to say kind of expected reaction from CPI data, but when things are good going into numbers like that, you can kind of expect things to roll over a little bit. It looks like that's what's happening. This could be a double top in BTC right here as we get over this 58,504 level. And if that is the case, then we may not see this level again. So if this thing does start to take off to the downside, or if you want to blanket short it now, it's not the worst trade in the world, actually. Stop loss of about 1.5%. And then maybe if you're fortunate, you'll catch the leg lower. Okay, so there's a potential here for a short in the market. I don't think this is necessarily a long situation unless we find some stability, come back up, and really don't undercut the past couple of candles on the 2-hour time frame. That's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. The advice is worth what you pay for it, and that's kind of all she wrote about that. But the CPI numbers could be a turning point in the market, whether it be for shorter term or longer term. And we're starting to see a little bit of sell off already. You just saw it was red. The candle flipped back to green on the 2-hour. It's real time, so I'm watching it. And I'm not seeing anything amazing in the charts quite yet. So a couple of good things on some alts, as we are rallying a little bit in the past 24 hours, but not enough to really get going dramatically. Okay, so that's really about it on this one. It really comes down to how we're going to handle this morning session in the markets. The rest of the markets, though, have been rallying a little bit, and I picked the top two performing altcoins in the top 50. First one was Stacks, which has done a pretty darn good job here, up 10%. Really good volume yesterday and today, getting down to a breakdown point, which isn't necessarily a bullish sign. This is just a retest of from where it sold off from, so they could try to sell it again. The saving grace here is the volume is actually really good. And so if we can get above, I'd say this level here at the 1772, that would very likely be a go signal, but it doesn't have to happen immediately. It could actually take some time to consolidate and then go back up above that level. But going back to what we said a little bit ago about the CPI number coming out, Stacks could be the victim of this breakdown point and the CPI number, and people trying to buy into it, and the institutions and the whales sell into that number. And so there is potential for a short on almost anything today that's rallied substantially. So keep that in mind. But if you take that trade, like I mentioned with Bitcoin a moment ago, you have to have a pretty tight stop loss and stick to it. And on that note, Bitcoin Cash, very large volume and candle just stepped into Bitcoin Cash, also coming down to a breakdown point here. A breakdown point is just where the market starts to take a larger step lower, and it did so over here. And we tend to rally into those levels and then sell off into those levels, especially because they're recent breakdown points and that selling pressure may still be around. That's usually what happens. So the high of this candle, if we really don't rally much anymore at all, in the shorter term, that could be a good stop for a short. So we're in a downtrend. That's why I'm mentioning shorting. Markets in a correction. We're living lower. We were able to consolidate. Now we're rallying higher, and not necessarily higher volume. Most of it's lower volume. So you're looking for things to stay weak and get weak. And these strong points in a weak market are good shorting opportunities. And so even both of these in these top 50, you can see they're just backing and filling to make this chart look like a normal chart, because that's what happens. Charts look like normal charts pretty much all the time. And so, back and fills before it goes higher. See, it's in an uptrend, back and fills, goes higher, right? In downtrend here, back and fills, goes lower, back and fills a little bit, goes a lot lower, back and fills, goes lower, back and fills, goes lower. So the trend tends to stay the trend until it shifts, and right now the trend hasn't shifted. So you're looking for shorts in this environment. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today. So hope that's a good 5 minutes of your day. Have a good one. Stay safe out there with the CPI number, because things get tricky in this environment. All right, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow on Altcoin Buzz Trading.